Financial plan. Sir Oliver. Good evening, Sir Oliver. Jeff Hall, how are you? Charlie, Mauricio, occasional, wait a minute, occasional Adam. Add me. I have, whatever. Kev, Benos, K, Rob, Richard, what's going on? Miss Conglamorous. Love that name, Miss Conglamorous. On my mama. All righty. Let's start streaming. Okay, and we should be going pretty good. Keith, Tam, got all that? Mr. Tass, what's going on? Adapt. MT Coffee Girl. Cool beans. Craig, what's going on? Michelle, Bobo, what's going on, Bobo? All right, so we are live, and live. So we are ready to roll. So here we go. Oh, my hair's a mess. There we go. That's a little better. Figured I might as well enjoy it while I still have it. You know what I mean? Anyway, good evening, everyone. My name is James. This is Dividend Stock Talk, brought to you by the 10-Minute Trader. Okay, I'm going to invest in some dividend stocks for a weekly cash flow, looking for a simple, safe, predictable, consistent 1% per week. Now, I know it sounds kind of boring. I know you're used to saying, all right, let's see what stock can make me rich overnight. If that's what you're looking for, you're in the wrong place. Terribly sorry. I'm not looking for capital appreciation. I don't do Forex. I don't do cryptocurrency. I don't do a lot of things. I invest in dividend stocks specifically. Dividend stocks have consistently increased their profits for at least 2 decades. 2 decades, that's 20 years. Now, I'll be more than happy to take a look at anything you want me to take a look at, except for cryptocurrency and Forex. Sorry, don't do that kind of stuff. That being said, let's get the ball rolling. Who wants to go first? Who has something they want to take a look at? How about SPXS? Beachfront, how are you today? Yes, sir. How's it go? John Warner, good evening. All right, so Beachfront wants to take a look at SPXS. What the hell is that? Now, I know I probably should know it, but I don't. SPSX. Goldman Sachs large cap. It has no options, so that's going to be a no. Okay, Beachfront. No options, no thank you. I do option trading. Okay, I don't buy options, I sell options. So I'm an option seller, not an option buyer. Okay, 80% of all options expire worthless, so why would I want to buy them? All right, Jack, what's going on? Mascot. Good evening, Mascot. Southeastern Pie. Okay, Justin Calva. Maverick, good evening. Cagdala. Michael Lazowski. Hey, Grandpa, thank you. Can you say want a cookie? All right, that's disturbing. Rocco, what's happening? ITNC. All right, I have no idea what ITNC is. I know what INTC is. Hello. Open stock, please. Okay, great deal 93. You got to give me one to take a look at. Yeah, baby is in the house. Okay, Beachfront SPSX is a 3X ETF. Yeah, I get that. But I put it up here in the search, SPSX, and nothing's popping up. So, nothing I can tell you about that. Oh, XS. I spelled it wrong. SPXS. SPXS. There it is right there. Well, alrighty then. I'm going to say no, only because it's just dropping. Let's check out what a covered call would look like on it. First thing I always want to see anytime I look at a chart is 5 things. Number 1, the high. Number 2, the low. Number 3, where was it? Number 4, where is it? Number 5, what's the motion? Down, up, down. Okay. A year ago, we're at $9. The high is right around 10.55, and the bottom is at 4.49. That's a 50% drop from here to here. Well, if you buy something and you're a little uncomfortable with 50%, you probably shouldn't be playing this game. Who do we have over here? Ivana. Oh, okay. Ivana, how are you? Dinosaur. Oh, wow. Love it. You can't come up with something better than that. All righty. Yep. There is options on it. Yeah, I'm well aware it is. Thoughts on Chef? We'll take a look at Chef in a little bit. XRP. I buy options on Monday, sell on Wednesday when market opens, as long as I do my Drummond geometry strategy. Alrighty then. You like Planet Labs. Never heard of Planet Labs. Okay, I stick with stocks that have been around for a very long time, and Planet Labs is relatively new, from what I understand. But SPXS. All right, now I'm only going to say no because of the premiums right here. 40/50 is going for 7 cents. Okay, fine, but the very next one is 0, and this one is 0 also. So I'm kind of curious, what kind of dividends does this thing pay out? All right, somebody wants to take a look. Jeremy wants to take a look at Chef. CHEF. Chef Wise. No. Okay. Jeremy. All right. I don't do monthly options. 15 August, 19 September, 17 October, 19 December. Those are months of the year, which means I can only do it once a month. Well, I'm looking for weekly cash flow, not monthly cash flow. Yeah, beachfront, I hear what you're saying. I do. You can say it as many times as you like. SPSX. SPXS. Okay, I'm pulling it up right now, putting it on Yahoo Finance just to see what the financials look like. Okay, so it's a 3X. Yeah, it doesn't make me really that comfortable. So we're going to look at historical data. See? So I want to see how consistently profitable this company is. Okay? Does it make sense to buy something like this? Okay, I'm going to go historical prices right here. And I want to look at just the dividends only. Just the dividends. Because a dividend is a portion of the company's profits. And if the company is consistently profitable, or the entity, whatever you want to call it. So this one goes all the way back to 2018. Okay, so that's only 7 years. Okay, hold on, beachfront, 7 years. 18, 19, 20, 21, so on and so forth. So when I say 2 decades, 2 decades is 20 years, not 7. But anyway, let's take a look at the numbers, see what it looks like. 29 to 48, well, that's good. 48 to 102, well, that's good, because it looks like it doubles, and then it doubles again, and then it gets cut in half. So it goes 29, 48, 102, 62, that's backwards, 75, 56, that's backwards, 37, that's backwards, 20, that's backwards, 23. Yeah, I'm going to say no to this thing right off the top. Now, the only reason, yeah, beachfront, I get it. You know, it's an ETF. Okay, you call it exchange traded fund. I call it an electronically traded fund because all the exchanges are run by computers. So you're basically giving your money to a computer, and the computer is not consistently profitable. You can call it whatever you want, but it goes from 29 to 48. That's great. 48 to 102. That's awesome. But again, it goes from 102 down to 62. And it jumps to 75. Okay, fine. Then it drops to 56. It drops to 37. It drops to 20. It keeps going down, down, down. Yeah, no thank you. Sorry. I just don't like it because the numbers go down and it only has 8 years of dividends. No. Terribly sorry. You still believing in Macy's? Big Daddy, how are you today? Kevo wants to take a look at Verizon. VZ, Verizon. Now we want to look at 5 things and 5 things only. The high, the low, where was it, where is it? Look at the motion, up, down, sideways, down, and then up. It kind of does something weird here. Not 100% sure if this is what you want to jump into at this moment. Look at the last 30 days for this thing. Okay, 30 days ago, we're here at 42. We jump up to 44, drop all the way down to 40.75, and then she gaps up today, filling this gap here. Okay, gaps have a tendency to fill. They filled this one. Well, more than likely, this one will fill eventually. Means the stock is going to come back down. But yeah, look at the volume. Big volume. That's the blue lines. The blue lines in the back is the volume. These little candles represent each trading day. The high, the low, the open and close, all that kind of nice, neat, fun stuff. So she jumped up today. Now we're sitting at 42.49. Now, does it look like it's going to continue to go up? Well, it could. Do you like Verizon? Now, that's a big question. Do you like Verizon? It's a yes or no question. Do you like Verizon at 42.49? Well, look what the 42.50s are going for. 42.50s are going for 37 cents. That's not even 1%. So as much as you may like Verizon, see this little opportunity here, the numbers don't look that good. So I'm going to say no to Verizon for this week. Next. Yeah, beachfront. I know it's not a company, it's an ETF. But if you look at it this way, even though it's an ETF, there's one person that runs it. And that person answers to someone who answers to someone who has people underneath them that does it. It's structured just like a company, but it's given to the computer. So the computer does all the trading for you. There is only one nation, Raider Nation. I have no idea what that means. Steven, what makes a person a professional trader? Mindset, please explain. To be a professional trader, it depends on how you look at it. You know, some people consider a professional trader someone who just trades and gets their money from their trading. But in the eyes of the IRS, you got to do at least 4 trades a day to be a professional trader, based on what the IRS says. 4 trades a day. Alrighty, but it all depends on how you look at it. You still believe in Macy's? All right, Big Daddy, let's take a look at Macy's. Macy's, high, low, where was it? Where's it? Look at this. Sideways, up, down, sideways, up. We're at 12.21. What does the 12.50s look like? The 12.50s look like 7 cents to 12 cents. Yeah, not this week. No, thank you. No, I do own some Macy's. I've owned Macy's for a long time because it gives me a nice premium every single week. And then every 90 days, it gives me a dividend. So, yeah, the numbers don't look that great today. Look at it. The 12.30, the 12.50, the 7 cents. Yeah, that don't look good at all. Next week, what does next week's look like? Next week, 12.50 is going for 23 to 26. So next week's, if I buy it today, tomorrow morning, I'd sell next week's. I wouldn't even bother this week's. Because this week you're getting 7 cents, next week you're getting 23. Well, it's almost 2% for next week's. Well, that one makes more sense than this week's. It's weird. The numbers they are what they are. All right, Jeremy, you're welcome. All right, what else do we have? Jeremy, thoughts on GMG? What the heck is GMG? I know someone's probably out there saying, well, everybody knows what GMG is. No, they don't. GMG doesn't make any sense to me. It's not pulling up. Sorry. What are your thoughts on PLTY? PLTY, Pulte Group. Oh, Yield Max, PLTR. Yeah, that's going to be a no. Now, the reason why PLTY is a no is monthly. I don't do monthly. There's only 12 months in a year, which means I'm only getting 12 extra checks a year. Think about it. Why would I want to get 12 when I can get 52? Because 12, if I get 1 to 2% every week with every option trade, 1 to 2%. Well, monthly, that's 12 to 24% a year. Now, some of you might say, hey, I like 24% a year. Yeah, why not? But if I'm getting 1 to 2% with every option trade, Weekly would be 50 to 100% per year. Yeah, I like that one better. I don't like monthlies. The numbers just don't work. And then trying to guess where the stock is going to be in the next 30 days. Yeah, 5 days is hard enough. 30 days, yeah, no thank you. I don't want to sit in front of my computer all day. I don't. What do we have over here? Wait, does each comment give you 25 XP? I have no idea what that means. I'm in 5th place. Okay. Hello, heat is this about? Okay, all right, whatever. All right, yeah, baby, what's going on? I'm just joking it. Okay, good for you. Hertz is still offering like 3 to 4% for this week, but at the high of the month. All right, now, Mark, I let go of my Hertz last week because it jumped so much over the past couple of weeks. It just didn't make any sense to hold on to it anymore. HTZ. See, I got Hertz way down here, and it just kept going up and up and up and up. Well, at some point, it doesn't make sense to hold on to it anymore, because when you're trying to roll it forward into another week, well, either the number is going to give you a good number or it's not. And if it doesn't give you a good number, then it's going to be, yeah, no. Yeah, no. But just take a look. 30 days ago, here's your bottom. Shoots up, pulls back. Shoots up, now it's pulling back. How far back is it going to go before it gets, I don't know, maybe down here? I'm going to say another 2 weeks, and I'll take a look at Hertz again. So I'm going to write Hertz down for 2 weeks from today. HTZ. All right, that works. Alrighty. Trab 44, Exxon Mobil, XOM. Love me some Exxon Mobil, but not this week. However, take a good close look. You ready? High, low, where is it? Look at the motion. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. What's going on here? Right here, today and Friday. Well, let's take a closer look. Before we do, though, what does this look like over here? 108. The 108 is going for 107 or 110. But we're losing 12 cents right off the top. So if we're only walking away with 107, you take 12 off of that. Well, now we're into the 90 area. That's not 1%. Next week, the 108s are going for 203. You still take the 12 off there. You're still not making 1% a week. Now, I like Exxon Mobil. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it don't. Take a look at the numbers. Okay, here's your last 30 days. Your 30-day high, she drops. Finds a bottom here, turns around, shoots back up again. Well, what happens? When you go from 107 to 116, that's a $9 increase, right on 8%. So it went up 8%, profit taken down, came back down again. And today is higher than it was yesterday or Friday. So could today be the first step going back to the upside? Because that's all they do. They go down, and then they go up, and then they go down, and it turns around, and then it goes back up again. Is today the turning point for ExxonMobil to turn on, go up? Well, the number this week doesn't look like 1%, but next week looks like you can get 2%. Close. But, you got to ask that question. Do I like ExxonMobil? Okay, I got 5 simple rules. Rule number 1, never buy something you don't want to hold on to. That means if you're going to buy something, buy it with the intention of holding it long term. Now, just in case it hits a target, your exit target, take the profit. Because, profits add up every single week. So if I'm buying it at 108, right, and I'm selling somebody the right to buy it from me at 108, well, I'm picking up $1.07. Not quite 1%, but still cash flow. Weekly cash flow. Next. Can you check Coca-Cola? Hold on. Oh, I missed a bunch. Okay, Exxon Mobil. Learning now using paper money to practice. What's a good way to evaluate options? Okay, Grizzled Hotcakes, how are you today? Now, Grizzled Hotcakes, I know absolutely nothing about you. What I do here is a simple, safe, predictable trade called the covered call on stocks. I'm only looking to gain 1 to 2% every single week. I'm not quite sure how you want to do it. But for me, I like to buy a stock after she pulls off of a 30-day top. She comes down, gets some profit taken, stock drops, and then it will accumulate right here at the bottom, and it'll turn around, go back up again. Well, that's the part where I want to jump in. I'll turn around. At the turnaround, I want to jump in, sell a covered call because it's safe, simple, and predictable. And I don't really have to worry about the stock going up because stocks only go 3 directions. Up, down, and then we call it nowhere or flat. So 2 out of 3. If I can get 2 out of 3, great. So if she goes up, I'm good. If she stays exactly where she is, I'm good. If she goes down, then I need to, adjust a few things. That's why I wait for the profit taking, find the bottom, turn around, go back up again. Well, that's what I'm waiting for. Well, Exxon Mobil's right at that point. But is it paying enough? Here it's saying it's not. So next. Can we look at Maine? Yes, we can take a look at Maine. And then I can tell you I don't do Maine. I don't do monthlies. Okay? 15 August, 19 September, 19 December, those are months of the year. When I say weekly cash flow, the only way you're going to get weekly cash flow from Maine is to sit in front of the computer looking for certain setups to jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. Yeah, I don't do that. That's too much effort for me. Now, does it work? Yeah, it works. It works for a lot of people. It's just not what I want to do. Okay, I'm retired. I don't want another job sitting in front of the computer. Trav, I hopped some PayPal calls today. Okay, PYPL. Now, I don't do PayPal, okay, only because PayPal has no dividends, which means they're not sharing their profits. But look at the motion, though. High, low, where was it? Where is it? Look at this. Up, down, up, down, up. Okay, right here, 74.82. We'll be looking at the 75s. Now, the 75s are going for 86. Well, that works. And next week's 75 is going for 299. Yeah, I would prefer to do next week's rather than this week's. Because if I do this week's, I'm only picking up 86, which is a little over 1%. But 75, that's close to 3%. Well, yeah, I'd do next week's. It's going to be always about the numbers. What am I buying it for? What am I selling for? Then take a look at the motion. Where is it going? Okay, high, low, is. Look at the motion. Up, down, up. Let's zoom in a little closer to this area here. Because this area here, well, this is today. Okay, 30-day top, 30-day bottom. Look at this. That is a nice direction right there. If, of course, you like PayPal. Now, PayPal doesn't have any dividends, but everything else is there, the weekly options. Okay, PayPal, I don't think is going anywhere. Okay, but do you like it? And do you like it at 75? Lumina wants to take a look at Ford. Now, we looked at Ford this morning, and it just didn't look that good. Okay, whoa, I got to chop that up a little bit. Hold that thought. Try it one more time. Okay, a year ago, way up there, over 14. The bottom down here, below 850. And then she shoots back up again. Okay, down, sideways, down, up. Okay, fine, that's the direction. Well, what do the numbers look like? Okay, well, it's at 1130. The 1150 is going for 9 cents for this week. Next week's 1150s are going for 31. Again, next week is a better trade than this week. Isn't that weird? So let's take a look at the numbers. Last 30 days. One more time if we try. Okay, so 30 days ago today, we're down here at 1040. Okay, 3 days later, there's the bottom. Okay, right around 1040. Shoots up to 12, pulls back to 11. Now we're at 1130. So here's your bottom, shoots up, comes back, and now she's turning around here. It looks like it's turning around. Could it be? It could be. Is tomorrow going to be higher? I like 2 days the upside. Here's your new bottom right there. And today was higher. So tomorrow it could be higher, which would mean Wednesday for me would be the time to jump in if it's paying more than 1%. And next week it is 2.5%. Next week, not this week, next week's. Okay. DCB, Enbridge. DCB wants to take a look at Enbridge. ENB. No. Okay. Now the reason I'm saying no is monthly. 15 August, 19 September, 17 October. Yeah, I don't do monthlies. They just don't pay the same. No, no, no. If you only had $500 to start, is it even worth messing with? JMD it is, but you need to try a strategy a little bit different. Now, the way my grandson is doing his account, now he's only started out with like $50, okay? A little bit of change here and there from all the grandparents. We throw all our money in and whatever. So starting with just $500, you might want to look at something called dividend capturing. That's where you buy the stock just before the dividend date. Okay, as it goes up, going into the dividend play, you get a little bit of a profit, and then you jump out. Don't look for the high, just look for the dividend play. Here, let me show you one or two. See if you like it. All right, first, here we go. All righty. Alrighty. So today's the 21st. Let's take a look at one right here. Caterpillar. We all know who Caterpillar is, right? Now, Caterpillar, let's click on that. It's 151. That's the dividend. That was today. Now, I normally buy 2 weeks before the dividend date when I'm doing dividend capturing. So 2 weeks before this would be on the 7th. So let's go back to the 7th and let's look at the opening price of the day. So Caterpillar on the opening price of the day on the 7th. CAT. Oh, the okay. Do I even need to go over the numbers with you? Here's the 7th right here. Okay, look how it went up. All right, that was only it was only $1.51 was the dividend. So 30 days ago, or should I say on the 7th, remember I told you the 7th, the opening price was $398.06. Now, remember the dividend was only $1.51. Well, $398 plus $1.01, which is the dividend you're looking for. Well, that's $399.50, something like that. So $399.50 is what I want to get out at. Well, the high for the day was $398. That didn't work. So we're looking for $399.50. All right, so hold on. So day one, nope, it didn't hit it. Day two, didn't hit it. Day three, it's a high at 403. So yeah, if I jump in 2 weeks before the EX date at the opening price of the day, okay, and then put in the exit target as the dividend, and the dividend in this situation was 151. Okay, so if I'm buying it here at the opening price, I add $1.51 to it, that's my exit. Third day, I'd be out with my profit. Sell that one and then jump into another one. Well, what's another one? Another one would be Lowe's. So Lowe's has a $1.20 dividend, and I want to buy it on the same day, the 7th. So let's take a look at Lowe's on the 7th. LOW. All right, here is the 7th. Okay, now it was a $1.20 dividend. The 7th, it opened up at 227.74. Well, the dividend was a $1.20. So 227, we want to look at 228.94. So right, 228.94. It looks like it's going to be this day right here. 230.36. So 4 days. Get that dividend, jump out, and then jump into another stock. Oh, what's another one? Well, another one could be Realty, could be Fast, it could be West, it could be, what is that one? AOS, it could be Hormel, it could be any stock that has a good dividend and has a good profitability to it. So dividend capturing has been around for over 400 years. You buy the stock at the right time. That's always key, the right time. So I always buy just before the EX date because stocks have a tendency to increase in value just before the EX date gets here, just before they pay out the dividend. So if you're going to jump in 2 weeks before the dividend date, add the dividend into the price that you just paid for it. That's your exit target. Set it, forget it, get in, get out. Well, that's one of the reasons why I like Thinkorswim, because I can do what is called a trigger trade, which means buy at the stock at the market open in the morning, okay, add the $1.20 into it, and that's my exit. So I'm buying and selling at the exact same time. The fastest trade I ever did was 6 seconds. I bought it, I had my, both orders, buy and sell at the same time. So bought it, 6 seconds later, sold it with my profit. What's my profit? My profit's usually the dividend, whatever it's going to be. And I always buy it 2 weeks before the EX date on a Monday. Now, the reason why I buy it on a Monday is because if I have 100 shares, I can write a covered call against it. Hopefully that made sense. Ashok Kumar, I haven't seen you for a while. Ashok, Coca-Cola. Well, let's take a look at some Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola. All right, so we got the high of the low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Up, down, up, 70, $71. Well, that looked good for this week. That's over 1% if you like Coca-Cola. Well, let's take a deeper look into it. All right, a year ago, Coca-Cola is at 65.04. The bottom of the year was like the first week of January, and that was 60.49. Well, look at the last couple of months. Okay? Down, up, down, up, down, up. Well, it's definitely going to the upside now. Well, let's zoom in a little bit closer to see exactly what that looks like. Okay? 30 days ago was the 30-day bottom. And then we have a second 30-day bottom last Wednesday. So 30 days ago and last Wednesday, the same 30-day bottom, right around 68.80. Okay, but 30 days ago, right here, shoots up to 72.50. That was towards the end of last month. Drops down, and now she's shooting back up again. 1, 2, 3 days to the upside. So does it look good? Yeah, it's offering over 1%. So let's see what it looks like. So let's get rid of this. Let's change this to covered stock. Now, if we do they don't have 70.55, but they do have a 71. Let's do a 71. Just one contract. There we go. Market order. Here we go. This is what the trade looks like, and this is what it should sound like. You ready? Buy one covered call, Coca-Cola 100. That's the weeklies. 25 July 25. That means this option is going to expire this coming Friday. Right? the $71 call option against Coca-Cola stock at the market to open. Two trades. To open. Two trades. Buying the stock, selling the option. Right? Maximum profit, 114. It's costing me $7,000. Well, let's see those numbers. We need a calculator, and it's going to say $111 is the profit. Okay, 111 is the profit, and the investment is going to be 6,989. All right, well, that's 1.5%. Now, 1.5% every single week is definitely over 80% per year. Well, I can deal with 80% per year. And we're talking Coca-Cola. This is not a fly-by-night company. This thing's been around for over 140 years, something like that. Well, that's a long time if you think about it. All right. I had to sit down, getting tired of standing. Okay, what do we have over here? All right, creative, cool beans. Alpha Wolf, good evening. Michael Myers, Liam Wellington, good evening. Matt. Sean, it would help if more of what you were pointing at was on the screen. On the screen. Okay, well, you're on TikTok. Hypothetically, you should be able to see everything that's on there. This way? Nope, wrong way. Let's go this way. Ooh, that camera's coming off. Yeah, well, it's on there. We could only see half of the screen behind you. Well, what part of the screen did you want to see? That's the only important part you need to see. And Sean, just to let you know, the screen behind me, okay, that's live on YouTube. Now, I don't know if you're on your phone, your iPad, your computer, but if you're on a mobile device, yeah, this here is live on YouTube. So you can go there to YouTube and look at just the whole screen on your big screen TV. If you have, YouTube on your phone. Alrighty. Do you consider recession-proof stocks more in this climate? Absolutely, because people are weird. Sean, that would help. Yeah. Jason, your YouTube is showing preview only. Uh-oh. Oh, that's right. All right, hold on. Silly me. I should have had, I forgot to do that. This is, good thing I don't get paid to do this. I probably would have been fired a long time ago. There you go. That should be much better now. Sorry, Jason. That should be better. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's change this back to single. Let's go down to here, and we're back again. Scott, Oksana, Kagdala, Spasiba. How you doing? All right, so that being said, there's only one nation. Okay, got it. Jeff, do you believe it's a sound strategy to mostly go long when price action is above moving average or VWAP, and conversely, to take most of your shorts below moving average and VWAP with steps loss above VWAP? Well, that's all interesting, and I'm sure it works out just fine. However, the trading strategy I'm showing you was created for my 9-year-old daughter back in 2008. Okay, she jumped on my lap one day and said, "Daddy, what are you doing? Can you teach me?" Okay, so how do you teach a 9-year-old to invest in stocks when most adults don't understand it? Okay, so I had 5 criteria. Okay, number 1, it had to be simple. Number 2, it had to be safe, predictable, consistent, and no way for her to lose, because we all know it's going to happen if a 9-year-old starts losing. She's going to get sad. She's going to cry. Dad's going to feel like crap. Mom's going to get involved. Dad's going to be sleeping on the couch. Yeah, I had a comfortable couch, so it really wasn't that big a deal, But it was, one of those things. Caleb, how you doing? Arthur, Usman, Luce, good evening. All right, so hopefully I answered that question. There's a lot of ways you can do it. There is no right and there is no wrong way. You just got to find a strategy that works for you. Now, the strategy that I found and that I've been sharing for the past 15 years, well, I created for my 9-year-old. So there's 5 rules. Remember, simple, safe, predictable, consistent, and no way for her to lose. So the 5 rules were very simple. Rule number 1, never buy anything you don't want to hold on to for a long period of time. If you can't feel good about your purchase and be totally okay with it, whether it drops or goes up, you just have to be okay with your purchase. If you're okay with your purchase, fine. Rule number 1, never buy something you don't understand. Rule number 2, never sell at a loss. It defeats the purpose of the game. This is what I told my daughter. Rule number 3, make sure the company is consistently profitable. Now, I'm looking for 2 decades. Stock market has been around for 400 years. 1602 was the very first dividend stock ever sold. So if the first dividend stock is sold in 1602, and here we are 400 years later, still doing the same thing, why not? Think about it. Okay, the promise was invest in our company and we will share the profits with you. That's what they said in 1602. Okay, so if you invest in a company, you get 2 choices. Okay, now we check every week, 10,263, I think it was. Different companies. 10,263 different companies. That's a lot to choose from. But I only look at about 300. And those are companies that are consistently profitable. Now, you would think that makes sense because it sounds logical. Why are there 2 live streams? Okay, XYZ, there are not 2 live streams. There's 9. Okay, there's 9 of them. Going for 9 different channels. So you're just on TikTok number 2. All right, so anyway, why would you invest in a company that's not consistently profitable? We ask that question every single night. Damn. All right, so Kakarum wants to take a look at Merck, MRK. MRK. There we go. Well, it's going to be a no for this week, but let me show you why. You ready? A year ago, we were at the high of the year, right around 130. And then she drops right to here, below 75. And she shoots up again, and for the last week and a half, it's been pulling back. Well, let's zoom in a little closer so you can actually see it better. Okay, 30 days ago, we're here, the bottom. She shoots up nicely, and then you get your profit taken for the past week and a half. Okay, down. Well, now Merck, now I do have some, by the way. As soon as she finds a new bottom, I'm going to be looking at it to see if she turns around and goes back up again. So I'm going to put Merck down for next week because it doesn't look like it's going to hit it this week. That's it. MRK. Sorry, dude. Doesn't look like it's good fit this week, but maybe next week. What else do we got? e.l.f. stock. What the heck is e.l.f.? e.l.f. Beauty. Interesting. Never heard of it. All right. Well, let's check out Yahoo Finance and see, does e.l.f. actually have a dividend that consistently increases? Oh, here we go. And there it is, e.l.f. Oh, imagine that. There are no dividends in the selected time period. which means no. That's a no. No dividends, no thank you. Oh, love the content hustle. Hey, thank you, XYZ, I think. Paul Mason, how's it going? Poor connection. Bummer. I've been scalp trading Merck for the past 2 weeks. Cool beans. All right, wavelength. Good evening. FL Hockey. How many times do you options get called out from you? I would say at least twice a month. Other than that, I just roll them over. Golly Van Devon. Gucci Garden. Okay, Arthur, Gordon, Shannon. Good evening, good evening. All right, what else do we have here? All righty. Are we doing momentum trading? Ian, kinda, yes, kinda, no. What is this about? Kyle, this is about investing in dividend stocks for weekly cash flow, looking for a simple, safe, predictable, consistent 1% per week. That's about 50% per year. And it does take 5 or 10 minutes a day if you're okay with that. Okay, if you're looking for something to buy today and be rich tomorrow, you're in the wrong place. Sorry, it just doesn't work that way. Josh, Thomas, Dells, Maxito, how are you doing today? All right, so flatline, wait for the heartbeat. Okay, gold is good. No, it ain't. It's typically not good for markets, however. All right, whatever. Yosef, you can't win against quant traders, and most traditional traders are getting replaced by quants. I don't know why people are still hyped on trading to make money. Technical analysis is useless. Yusuf, thank you. ClickBank analysis predicts gold will fall to 3,000 an ounce. Okay. In 2026, okay, time to buy, long run, okay, got it. Coca-Cola, okay. Jim Brown, Jay, Micah, what's going on? Try Dr. Pepper. You got to give me the ticker symbol. Start date of the company, 1881. Okay. Do you think in the future that stocks will have gold as a pipeline like some crypto? I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that, but the way I look at it, some of these companies that I look at, that I invest in, are over 100 years old. Coca-Cola's been around for 140 years. Procter & Gamble, Colgate-Palmolive. Wells Fargo, Bank of America. There's a whole bunch of them that are over 100 years old that are consistently profitable and consistently increase their dividends. Well, why not? All right. Mike. I was wondering how much of your 3 shared accounts have stocks tied up because the price dropped so far out of the money that they are not profitable anymore for your strategy. Oh, Mike, that's a good question. Let's go and take a look. Okay, so we're going to take a look at weekly trades 2025, all right? So account 1, account 2, account 3. Now let's go all the way back to the very beginning of the year. That would be week number 1 of the year. That's week 7, week 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so here's your question. Hopefully this answers it for you. Now, week 1, first quarter of the year, December 30th to January 3rd. That was the first week. All right. So account 1, 6.19%. Account 2, 1.82. Account 3, 4.23. That's just week 1. So week 2, 2.3, 1.7, 1.8. Week 3, 4.8, 3.6, 1.8. Week 4, 2.3, 2.0, 3.3. Week 5, 3.8, 1.2, 3.5. Do you see where I'm getting at? Okay, I've been doing this for a very long time. Yeah, some stocks go up, some stocks go down. It's always a good idea to make sure you're jumping in at the right time. Gary, Broker Talk Show, what's going on? Cache Wilder, Jamal Jones, Daryl Symes, Mr. Pips, good evening, good evening. All right, so let's keep on doing it. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, so every single week so far this year, I think 3-4 weeks I didn't hit 1%. Four times out of 3 accounts that I share with you. Now I have 7 accounts, but I only shared 3 of them publicly. I mean, the 3 should give you a good idea of what's going on. I can move the chair. Can't sit down too much. All right. Crazy man. All right. Where are we? XRP. I don't do XRP. All right. Kevo, ever put one in on Friday afternoon if the number's really good? Yeah. Always about the numbers, Kevin, I told you this a long time ago. Always going to be about the numbers. Would Ford be best at 11 or 11.50? $11.50. You just tell by the numbers. Okay, the current price is $11.31. Okay, so the $11.50 for this week is 9 cents. Not quite 1%. 9 to 10. But next week, the 11.50s are going for 31 to 32. So yeah, if you really like Ford, if I was going to do Ford, I would do Ford, but I would do next week's 11s. Because it's a safer trade. Get in, get out, get that nice 2%. Why not? Anthony, good evening. Jared, good evening. Namir, Beeb, hey, where can I get a copy of that calendar app? Beeb, you can go get it at Google. In Google, you'll take a look at and into the search engine, Ex-dividend calendar, and then just hit go, and you get a whole bunch of them. Something that tells what the EX job is. I'm not quite sure I understand that one. James knows covered calls. Thank you, Jose. Ava, how much cash do I need to do what you do? To get started and to buy an on average $50 or more. Ava, we're all different. We all have a different amount of money to start with. We all have a different set of assets at our disposal. I have no idea how old you are. I have no idea what it is you're looking for. I always tell people every night, okay, if you want to have a conversation, I'd love to have a conversation. Put your phone number in a DM, send it to me, and I'll give you a call. The funny thing is, I say that to like 15 to 20,000 people every single night. And maybe 1 or 2 people will send me their phone number. Okay, I don't do Instagram. I don't do Telegram. I don't do, what is that other one? Snapchat. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't do any of that stuff. I pick up the phone like it was originally intended. You know, you reach out and touch someone. Hello, it's James. How are you doing today? Let's chat. Okay, now I love chatting. Okay? Let's keep on going. Okay, Iron Mountain. Oh, Beeb. That sounds familiar. Hillwell, Baidu, B-I-D-U. Now, Baidu is not on my list, but let's take a look at it. You know, just for you. All right, here's the high, here's the low, here's where it was, here's where it is. Look at it's doing. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Well, what's going on here? Let's zoom into that a little bit closer. But before we do, the current price is 88.81. So we'd be looking at the 89s, and that's going for 142 for this week. Next week, 226. So it'd be better to do this week and then do another one next week. Okay, well, let's see what it looks like. All right, so a year ago, Baidu is at 92.19. Well, the high of the year is 116, and that was in the beginning of October. Well, we bottomed out in the second week of April. Okay, 74.71. Well, look at where we are now. Okay, 30 days ago, here we are, almost at a 30-day bottom at 83. Got to prove that I'm human. There you go. So here's the bottom right here at 83. She shoots up, pulls back, shoots up, pulls back. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. 3 days to the upside from this pullback here. Pulled back. Now it's 3 days to the upside. All right. So does it make sense? Well, let's see what a covered call for Baidu looks like. Not saying it's something that I would do. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's change this to covered call, and let's do the 89 right there, because the current stock is at 89.15. So if I can do this trade and make a nice little percentage, why not? Okay, at the market, there it is, and here we go. By one covered call of Baidu, 100, that's the weeklies, 25 July 25, that's this coming Friday, which means whoever buys this option, they have from tomorrow morning to Friday afternoon when the option expires. Now, options expire on Saturday, but after 3:59 p.m., there's nothing you can do. So, in effect, it's tomorrow morning until 3:59 p.m. on Friday. So, you either exercise it, use it, do something with it, or don't. All right, so my maximum profit, 140. It's going to cost 8,700. Let's see what kind of rate of return that is. So 140 bucks is the profit. Anytime you're finding your rate of return, you got to take the profit and you divide it by what the investment was. So 140 is the profit, and we're going to divide it by 87.60. That's the investment. It's 1.59, so 1.6%. Well, think about it. 1.6% every single week is over 80% per year. Well, I would love to get 80% per year. Think about it, 80%. Who gets 80% per year? Not very many people. What else do we got? Ashok, thank you. You're welcome. Mercer Shaw, good evening. Ernie J, thank you, Ernie J. Dinah, good evening. Or Dana. Sam, good evening. Aaron. Peep. What platform are you using? This platform here is called Thinkorswim. That's offered through Charles Schwab. Ill Will, good evening, and how are you today? All right, Charles Schwab, follow the creator. Thank you, Alex. Crazy man, yes? All righty. Animal hangovers. All righty. Duke wants to take a look at Palantir, PLTR. Wait a second, you gotta get rid of this. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of this and put PLTR right there. PLTR. No. Wasn't that quick? It should take 3 to 4 seconds to take a look at a chart to decide whether it's a yes or no. I'm looking for 5 things, and it should take you 3 to 4 seconds. High, low, where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Up. Yeah, no. Okay, here's the bottom here. Up, down, up. That's it. Yeah, no. I don't buy at the high. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Hillwell, we already looked at Baidu. Okay, XYZ. For the dividend to be paid, how long do you need to hold it? At least 2 days. XYZ, let's do this because you're relatively new here, so let me show you. This here, behind me, is what's called an Ex-dividend date calendar. Ex-dividend date calendar. The Ex-dividend, let me explain briefly, see if you understand this. There are 4 dates that you need to remember when you're investing in dividend stocks. Date number 1 is the announcement date. That's when the spokesman comes out and says, hey, everybody, my name is James. This is Dividend Stock Talk. Let me tell you how much money we made this year. It was a wonderful year. And as an investor, this is what you're going to get. And this is when you're going to get paid. It's the announcement date. Date number 1 is the announcement date. That's when the company says, this is what we made, this is what you're going to get, when you're going to get it. Date number 2, this is the important one, the Ex-dividend date. That's the last day the stock trades before the dividend is paid. So if you want to collect the dividend, represented by these little green dots on the calendar, if you want to collect any of those, you got to buy it before that little green dot. And yes, Ex-dividend calendars are free. Just go to Google Ex-dividend calendar. One will pop up. Date number 3 is known as the date of record. Simply put, if you own the stock on the date of record, you are entitled to the dividend. If you do not own the stock on the date of record, you are not entitled to the dividend. It's simple. It's either you're on the date of record or you're not. It's actually that simple. And date number 4, that's the payment date when you actually get your money. So 4 dates. Announcement date, EX date, date of record, and payment date. Okay. If it looks good, do you still place a trade on Tuesday? Sometimes. Depends on the numbers. Amelia, good evening. Cheese baby, how are you? Oh, is that Julia? Julia! Oh, where was I? Wow, a lot of people. I missed a lot of these questions. Baidu, Palantir, blah, 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 blah. Julian. TSLY. TSLY. Interesting. No. Okay, Julian, you see that? No. I don't do monthlies. The numbers just don't work. For your information, KDP is Dr. Pepper. Hey, world you want to live in, girl. How are you today? Why can't you just have a name like Sally or Patty or Christina or Chris or Julia? Simple name. World you want to live in, girl. That's a lot out of my mouth. KDP, let's check it out. KDP. No. Sorry, kiddo. KDP is a monthly. That means I can only get 1 trade per month. That's not weekly cash flow. That's monthly. No. That's a no. Let's keep on going. What other questions do we have? World you want to live in, girl. Would you mind looking at Altria? Earnings coming up on the 30th. Altria. Interesting. Okay. High, low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So it is going in an upward trend right from here after this pullback. So let's zoom in. But before we zoom in, do the numbers work? It's a yes/no question. It's really not that difficult. 58.92. 58.92. The closest strike price to 58.92. 59. 59 is going for 44 to 49. Yeah, no. But next week's 59 is going for 111 to 120. Well, that's almost 2%. That's 2 weeks. Maybe. Well, let's check it out. All right, so Altria a year ago was the bottom, 47.54. That was a year ago. Now the top was a couple of weeks ago. Right there, 61.27. And that was May 7th. All right, so she drops. There's the high, there's the low. Here's where it was, here's where it is. Look at this. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So we got 2 days to the upside after this pullback right there. Down, up, down, up. Okay, looks like it's going up. But in actuality, it's a very slow, slight downward trend. But at this moment in time, let's zoom into that 30 days. Okay, you can see the pattern here. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Now she's going back up again. How far up is it going to go? I don't know. Well, that's something you need to ask yourself. At what point do you feel comfortable jumping in? All right, that being said, 59, the 59s are going for that. Okay, looks interesting. What else do we got? Mercer Shaw, showing my parents what you do. Can you please do Ford? Okay, we just did Ford a couple of minutes ago. Ford, there you go. Okay, high, low, where was it? Where's it? Look at the motion. Down, up. Okay, what are we doing? Where's it going next? Well, look at the bottom here. It's definitely going to the upside, but the high is way up here over 14. So let's zoom in a little closer to get a better idea of where do we think it's going next. And for that, need my glasses. All right, so 30 days ago with Ford, here we are, 1040. That's 30 days ago. That's a month ago. Drops down here, then shoots up. Now she's pulling back. Here's the new bottom here. So here's your 30-day bottom. Okay, from there she shoots up. But look at the shoot up from 1040 to 12. That's over $1.60. Now $1.60, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but $1.60 on a $10 stock, well, that's over 10%. That's a 10% increase. Well, yeah, it's going to have profit taking. So you get your profit taking. Now we're here, turning around, going back up again. Does it make sense to jump into Ford, okay, selling it to someone for the same price I just paid for it? So if I'm paying $11.35, I'm going to sell it to someone for $11.50 for next week, pick up 31 cents. That's just shy of 3%. Now, 3% for 2 weeks, that's up 1.5% a week. Well, 1.5% a week for the year, well, that's over 60, 70% for the year, if you're okay with that. But then there's a whole bunch of questions you need to ask yourself. Question number one is, does it make sense? And question number two, do I like this company? Do I like this company at this price? Am I willing to buy it and never sell it at a loss? Do a covered call every week, every 2 weeks, and bring in extra cash flow? Well, those are all valid questions that you need to ask yourself before you jump into anything like this. Next, can you show what you did last week? You mean like all the profits and losses from last week? 100% honest with you, I haven't done that yet. I haven't done it in a couple of days. I meant to do it today to sit down, but we had a birthday party, so I got prepped for the barbecue. Will you believe I spent like 4 or 5 hours just prepping for a barbecue? Shish kebabs and salads and whatnot. That was fun. Anyway, I won't be able to show you what I did last week until probably tomorrow. All right. How many trades are you in on Mondays? Well, I get 7 accounts, and each account has roughly around 7 positions. So 7 times 7, 49, 50. About 50 different positions through 7 different accounts. At least $10,000, I heard, is always a good start for investing. Could very well be. Why not on XRP? Why not on XRP? XRP. XRP. Okay, so who asked that one? Chris doing work. Chris doing work, how are you this evening? You're new here. That name would definitely stand out. Okay, so XRP. Well, let's give it another try because it's not showing up the right way. XRP, historical data. That's what I want to look at. Historical data on XRP. Now, The reason why I'm looking at historical data for XRP, even though I know it's going to be a no because somebody wants to take a look at it. So here it is right here. Okay, so here's XRP. It's at $3.55 a share. Okay, I want to look at the historical prices because I want to see what kind of dividends this thing is paying out. Dividends only. All the way. Okay, so check this out. XRP, there are no dividends at this selected time period. So, Chris, doing work. When I say, well, the name of the channel is Dividend Investing for Weekly Cash Flow or Dividend Stock Talk, they both have that word dividend in it. And XRP doesn't have any dividends. That's why XRP is a no. Another reason XRP is a no is when I say I only invest in companies that have 2 decades, that's 20 years of profits. XRP doesn't have it. Freedom Legacy, STLA, right. STLA, Stellantis. Well, here's Stellantis. Let's take a look. High, low, where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Down, sideways, we're at 926. The 950s are going for 10. That's more than 1%. Next week, they're going for 25. Well, that's 2.5%. Okay. Well, that being said, it's going to be a no this week only because look at this right here. Okay, 30 days ago, here we are. Shoot up. Now she's pulling back. We're looking for the bottom. Not here. Okay, this it keeps going down, 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 down. Now, I don't try to find the bottom. I don't. Let the bottom find itself. What does that mean? Well, eventually it's going to hit the bottom, turn around, and go back up again. Because stocks only do 2 things. They go down until they're done. When they're done going down, they will turn around and go back up again. And they will keep going up until they're done. That's such a weird concept, don't you think? It goes up until it's done, turns around, goes back down until it's done, and then turns around. It does the same thing over and over again. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, the stock, the chart will tell you when it is ready to stop and turn and go the other way. So, Chris, doing work. I hope that explains it. Okay, it hasn't been around for 20 years. It doesn't have any dividends, so no and no. All right. Mason, at least 10,000, I heard. Okay, it's a good place to start. Marwan's, hey, James, can you show what you did last week? Okay, you already asked that question. Somebody asked that question a little while ago. And I said, I apologize. I did not update my website this week. I haven't updated in the last couple of weeks, which that's my own fault. Okay, I'm getting used to doing nothing. Eric, Eric had a question. What was that question, Eric? Chat. In my learning experience with James, thanks for your concern. Okay. Why do you invite me to a Zoom you don't monitor? Eric, I'm right here. All you have to do is ask a question. Yeah, Eric, you're here. If you have a question, unmute yourself and just ask. All right? Because I got 7 other cameras going and 7 other conversations going. So you guys are here on a paid service. Just unmute yourself. Say, hey, James, I got a question. All right? That's all you got to do. What a day. Thinkorswim, clear my account, due out, system error. So I'm starting over. Nothing wrong with that. Mark, that's what it is. I'm trying to get any idea. Okay, blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of good stocks today. Started fresh. Yep. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, Eric, just unmute yourself. Anytime you guys have any questions over here, just unmute yourself and ask. Just say, hey, James. That's it. Hey, James. You know, that works. Works for me. All right. Yeah, just like that.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. What do you got?
Okay. I want to know how I can capitalize when I feel like it's not good. When I feel like it's not just going to run. I don't like KS today.
KS? Wait a minute. Let me pull it up. KS. What the heck?
KSS.
Oh, KS. Oh, Coles.
Yeah, that run was awesome, and I would have loved to add a different strategy or an additional strategy to capture.
Okay, now I understand exactly. I try to explain it this way. You can have your cake, but you can't eat it. Or you can't have a cake, but you can eat it. You can have your cake, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. Okay, so you have to decide, what do you want? Do you want capital appreciation? Okay, or do you want consistency of cash flow? Because it's very challenging to get both. Now, I like Kohl's because it gives me a nice rate of return every single week. Now, this week it gave me a nice rate of return. Oh, great. Well, I will roll it into next week and they will give me another nice return. And I will hold on to it until it gets to a point where I can't profit anymore off of it. But you are kind of right. You know, it was a nice run up, and it would have been nice to get the run up rather than just the premium. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Can you explain what a bull is?
A what?
Armored call with a bull, or something like that. Bull. I'm not 100% sure what that is.
I have no idea what that is either.
Oh, okay. I'll ask my AI.
Yeah, a bull. Never heard of that one.
Thank you.
Mark, I got Kohl's at $9.90 this morning. I was waiting for it to go back down, but it never happened. So I just triggered it because of the fat premium. Well, that sounds right. El Pablo, ¿qué pasa, amigo? ¿Cómo está? Is Anduril legit? Okay, Gavin, I have no idea what that means. Iron Mountain, isn't that a document disposal company? Well, Iron Mountain also makes coffee. I find it very funny that some dude, Dividend Stock Talk, is actually following me. Isn't that weird? I got like 30 people pretending to be me. And this guy here is actually watching me and following me at the same time. That's funny. And COO. Mindy wants to take a look at COO. COO. So when I tell you guys, no. Sorry, Mindy. No. I don't do monthlies. The numbers just don't work. Okay? 15 August, 19 September, 21 November. Those are months of the year. They just doesn't work. COP. Yes. Let's do COP. COP. Not this week, but maybe next week. Okay? Take a look. There's your bottom 30 days ago. She shot up. Now she's pulling back. It's slowing down right here. Okay, this is the bottom here. Friday was higher. Today was lower. So not quite turning to go up. Just kind of like going, channeling. Animal hangovers. All right. Is that Jupiter? Jupiter Moon, ETH prediction till December. What the heck is ETH? Is that Ethereum? No. Sorry. Fresh. Oh, Flash. How do you get that calendar on Thinkorswim? All right, Flash. You see the top screen where it says monitor, trade, analyze, scan, marketplace, charts, blah, 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 blah. Go to marketplace. Okay? You bring your cursor right on top of marketplace. Okay? A little drop down window pops up. Quotes, alerts, visualize, financing rates, calendar. Okay, click on the calendar. There it is. La 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 la. Just call me Steph. Hey, all right, girl you want to live in, girl. All right, world you want to live in, girl. Doug, wow, I stumbled across this and I have learned so much already. Thank you. Doug Wood, how are you this evening? It wasn't for me. Okay, thank you. I wanted Altria. Yeah, we looked at Altria. That was a no also. How do you figure 1% per week? Okay, user 4322514768. I'm going to call you Fred. All right? Is that okay? I don't know what your parents were thinking calling you 43225147689557. That's a long number. Why don't we just call you Fred? So how do you figure 1% per week? That's an interesting question. Let me think. Okay. All right. This is my website, The10MinuteTrader. You can take a look at it. Actually do some research. Go to Google, says, how long has The 10-Minute Trader been in business? I registered this name over 20 years ago. So anyway, let's take a look. How do I figure 1% per week? All right, so let's slide all the way up to the top. Okay, so at the beginning of the year, account 1, account 2, account 3. Account 1 at the beginning of the year was 151,000. Account 2 was 143. Account 3, 114. So 1% of 114 is $1,400. 1% of 143 is about $1,500. Account 1, 151, or 1% is around $1,600. So that's what 1% is. So let's go back and see how that worked out. All right, so we slide back. Let's go right to here. Week number 8. Okay, week 8, first quarter, February 7th to February 21st. Account 1, $4,238. Well, that's 2.3%. Account 2, $2,022. Well, that's 1.23%. Account 3, $3,549. Well, that's 2.5%. That's just for that week. Okay, now each one of the trades are posted online. Here's the timestamp, what the trade was, how many, what stock, what strike price was, what the profits were, so on and so forth. So for this week here, those are all the positions. And this week, okay, go up a little bit further. All right, right here. Oh, here's a good one. You'll like this one. Account number 1, $800, 0.39%. That was probably the worst week I've done right there. 0.39. I only made $800 in that account that week. This account here, $1,100, 0.62, not quite 1%. Account number 3, $3,389. Well, that's 2.15. Okay, do I make 1% every week? No. But do I average 1% every week? Yeah, I do. I average more than 1% every week. You can take a look at every single trade I've done, except for the last week. I haven't gotten to that one yet. Week 15, second week, second quarter, April 7th to April 11th. 5,700, 2.7. What? What you?
Although blood response that dominated the news cycle, congressional redistricting has the potential to shake up Congress. President Trump wants state lawmakers.
Okay, I don't understand that at all.
What's happening is he's bringing evidence from an area of the same way from Oklahoma, Texas, along in Georgia, appointed to the congressional redistricting committee, whose Democrat Chris Turner and Jacksboro invaded.
Sorry, Joe, I had to mute that. That was noise in the background. Couldn't hear anything. All right, so as I was saying, week 15, April 7th, April 11th, 2.7, 3.3, whatever the hell this one is, 1.8. So do I make 1% every week? No, but I make more than 1% most weeks. Every once in a while, I think like 4 or 5 times I didn't hit 1%. I showed you a couple of them, but there's some more. But they're all here every single week. I believe we're in week 30. Okay, week 22, week 23, 2%, 2.7. What is that? Oh, I haven't figured that one out yet. No, so I got to finish that one. Anyway, so they're all there. Just go to the website and take a look. All right, next. So Hope that makes sense. Flash, we already took a look at Altria. Jojo, are there any stocks under 10 bucks that could do this strategy? I understand they wouldn't be kings. Yeah, there are. As a matter of fact, let's get out of here. Okay, that's good. Let's go. Nope, not that. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do watch list and prices. No. All right, so let's take a look at, here we go. Who said that? Jojo. Take a look, Jojo. $1.06, $1.12, $1.13, $1.30, $1.50, $1.80, $2, $2.83, $3.21, $3.24. Oh, look at this. $4.31, $4.75, $6.18, $7.06, $7.13, so on and so forth. All these stocks here have weekly options. Now, I don't know if all of them are consistently profitable. You just asked if there was other stocks below 10 bucks. Well, there's a whole bunch of them below 10 bucks that have weekly options. Okay, how do they work? I don't know. They're not on my list. I use certain stocks, and that's all I use. Here we go. All right, next. Alcoa. Didn't we look at Alcoa as AA? Wait a minute, AA is Alcoa. Now I did buy some Alcoa. Oh, nice. Let's take a look at this. High, low, where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Down, up, down, up. What's going on here? 30.98. The closest strike price to 30.98. It's going to be 31. So let's take a look. The 31, 58 cents. That's just shy of 2%. That's for this week. Well, next week, 95. Well, that is 3%. So I would prefer to do next week's, not this week's, because next week sounds better. All right, so let's take a close look at the numbers. A year ago, 34.65. The high of the year, 48. The bottom of the year, 21. That's more than 50%. If you're not ready for that kind of numbers, going from 48 down to 21, then you shouldn't be playing this game, because that's what these companies do. They go up and they go down. They go up and they go down. That's it. That's all. So here's the bottom here. Now she's coming up. Let's zoom in a little closer. What does that look like? The last 30 days, right there. Okay, so it doesn't look that appetizing anymore, does it? Here's your 30 days ago. Here's your 30-day bottom. She shot up, pulled back, shot up, pulled back. Here's the new bottom right there. 1, 2 days the upside. Third day, that's the day to jump in. Too bad, it's way too close to the top now. It came, it went. Okay. It came, it went. It's not there anymore. Doug Wood, can we watch you do one real time? Well, unfortunately, Doug, you can't watch real time because the market is not open at the moment. Okay, but I can show you a trade and you can see exactly how it works. All right, I just got to find a good one. So sit tight, Doug. You'll see one in a little bit. Tippy, open. What the heck is open? O-P-E-N. O-P-E-N. Hell no. Okay? No. Because if this thing was like 50 cents last week or last month, and now it's at $5, yeah, no. I don't see it having 20 years of increased dividends. Sorry, Trippy. Flash, Hormel. Okay, Hormel, HRL. Dividend king, been around for over 100 years. Not this week, maybe next week. Take a look. 30 days ago, shoots up, pulls back. Here we are. Now, this is Hormel. They have 5 decades of increased profits. Okay, however, you just got to wait until it makes a turn. Okay, here's the bottom here. She shot up. Okay, here's the top. Now she's pulling back. Great. Well, it's going to consolidate, turn around, go back up. So it may not be this week. It may be next week. But what do the numbers look like? 28.89. So we'll be looking at the 29s. Well, the 29 is going for 15. No. Next week's one. Yeah, no. Sorry. I like Hormel. I just don't like the options. Brian, Harley-Davidson, HOG. Interesting. Not this week, but let's take a look. High, low, where was it? Where is it? Look at this. Sideways, down, sideways, 23.58. 23.50 is going for 40 cents. Hell yeah. Let's do one on Harley-Davidson, because I like Harley-Davidson at 23.50. Okay, here's your bottom here on Thursday. Friday's 1 day higher. Today was 1 day higher. Okay, definitely going up. So let's take a look. 23.50. Let's get rid of this. Let's change this to covered stock. And we're going to doing the 23.50. Right there. 23.50. Just one. At the market. And here we go. Buy one covered call, Harley-Davidson, HOG. 25 July 25 means the option expires this Friday. The $23.50 call option against the stock to open to open. All right, great. Maximum profit, 37 bucks. Not huge, but I'm only putting in 2,300. So let's see what kind of rate of return that is. Calculator. 37 bucks divided by 2,313 comes to a grand total of 1.59 or 1.6. Let me write that one down. Okay, so do you like Harley-Davidson? That's the big question. Okay, does it make sense? That's question one. Question two is, do I like Harley-Davidson? Do I like it at this price? Am I okay with buying it and just keep doing covered calls every single week? It's an honest question. 10:30. Wow, 10:24. Let's keep on going. What else do we got? How much need to retire using wheel options? Okay, Ramfill Capital. Interesting name. Now, it's always going to depend on what kind of living do you like to do. Okay, if you have expensive taste, you're going to need more money. Okay, if you're rather frugal and don't need a lot, well, you need less money. So, Ramfill Capital, everyone is different. Okay, we all have our own goals. We all have our own dreams. We all have our own desires. Okay, we all have a different threshold for pain, pleasure, and risk. All right, so let's keep on going. What do we have? I was wondering how much your 3 shared counts, stock, blah, blah, blah. How far out of the money they are before they're profitable anymore for your strategy. All right, Mike. Hopefully I answered that question. YouTube channel is displaying only broadcast. Oh, damn it. That's probably better now. Yeah, technology is not my thing. You know, I got 6 cameras. If I knew how to use the software properly, I wouldn't need 6 cameras. All right, so how much do you need to retire using this? Now, I'm comfortable where I am. Now, I'm comfortable getting 1% a week. If I didn't get 1% a week, I wouldn't be able to be retired. I'd have to continue working. And I'm not really liking that idea. All right, so we got some more questions. Let's see what we got. Thoughts on Lucid, Curtis? Lucid, LCID. LCID. Let's change this. Single. Oh, wow, it's only at $2.83. Interesting. Ooh. Well, let's go to Yahoo Finance. LCID. Let's check it out. LCID. See what kind of dividends they're paying.
James, why did you change it to single?
Why?
Yes.
It makes it easier to do your calculations. Now, Lucid doesn't have any dividends. Let me show you. All right. All right. So the current stock price is 282, right? Right? 282.
Yeah.
The closest strike price is going to be $3.
Right.
Okay. What percentage is 8 cents of $3? Well, it's just shy of 3%.
Right.
Now, if I put it on covered, okay, what am I making here?
Right, it's harder. That's why, then you get divided out.
Yeah. You get it?
Don't really have to, but yes.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. I like simple. I like simple and easy.
I hear you. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next. What else do we got? I'm back. Bitcoin Bub. All right. Thoughts on LCID. Okay, so LCID right now, I'm going to say no, only because look at this big gap up right here. Big, huge gap up. Have a new 30-day high up there. Now she's coming back down again. So LCID, Lucid, if you like it, maybe in a couple of weeks. James. Plus it's digital currency. Okay, any thoughts on Intel? Curtis, let's take a look at Intel. Now, I do own some Intel. I believe I got some today. INTC. Okay, so you have your high way over there at 32. We have our bottom here at 18, and then we're jumping back up to 23. Okay, well, it looks interesting, all right? The chart does anyway. But look at the numbers. What are we looking at on the numbers? 23.35, so the 23.50s are going for 80 cents. 23.50 is going for 80 cents a share. Well, that's well over 3%. If, of course, you like Intel. That's always the catch. I mean, yeah, it's paying out nicely, but do you like that company? And are you willing to hold on to that company? Well, let's take a look. A year ago, Intel was at the high of the year, 31.47. That was the high. And then she drops down to just below 18. Now, that is just shy of a 50% drop. So what is it, like 47, 48% drop? That's a big drop. But from there to where we are now, okay, so the bottom is 1767. There's the bottom. Well, look at where we are now, 23.26. So from 17 to 23 is over $5. Well, $5 on a $17 stock is pretty close to 30%. Pretty close. So it has that nice jump up. Yeah, there's going to be profit taking. But see where we are now, the last 30 days, right there. Take a look. Your 30-day bottom's here. Jumped up, pulled back, jumped up, pulled back. 1, 2, 3 days to the upside. Well, that's what I'm looking for. Can it keep going up? Well, it's in an upward trend. See it? That is an upward trend. So yeah, so let's see what Intel would look like at 23.50. Change it back to here. Covered stock, 23.50 right there. Just one contract at the market. 2 open. Here we go. Buy 1 covered call. Intel 100. That's the weeklies. Okay, 25 July 25. That's this coming Friday. That's only 4 days away. Okay, the 23.50 call option against the stock at the market to open to open. That means I'm doing 2 orders at once. I'm opening a stock order, which means I'm buying some shares. And I'm selling a covered call, which means I'm buying somebody the right to buy the shares from me at almost the exact same price I just paid for it. Well, why would I do that? Well, just because I'm making $98.50 per contract. Well, let's find out what that math is. So you get my calculator. If my profit's $98.50, okay, and the investment is $22.52, it gives me a grand total of 4.3%. Well, 4.3% on a week for 1 week. Okay, if 1% a week is 50% for the year, 2% a week is 100% a year. Well, what is 4%? That's got to be at least 200% per year. I mean, think about it. That's a nice return. All righty. DKG302. Evening, James. Have you looked at HOG? Yeah, we looked at Harley-Davidson already. KMI? KMI is Kinder Morgan. Well, let's take a look at Kinder Morgan. Why not? KMI. KMI. Kinder Morgan. Interesting. Let's take a look. High, low, where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Down, up, down, up, down. Well, that doesn't look very promising now, does it? 27.11, the 27 is going for 34. Well, that makes sense. Next week's 27 is going for 46. All right, well, let's take a gander. All right, a year ago, we're at 21.71. The bottom of the year was the beginning of August, and that was 1972. Oh, I remember 1972. Mrs. Topham, second grade teacher. I sat next to Betsy Garfield. Hi, Betsy. Anyway, and Deanna Gordon was on the other side. So there was Betsy Garfield, there was me, and then there was Deanna Gordon. And then Mike Galvin was right after her. Anyway, let's keep on going. Anyway, 1972, that was a great year. I had fun. Like, how much fun can you have in second grade? It was a blast. All right, so 31.48 is the top. So she goes from 1972 to 31. 1972 to 31. That's 11. That's almost $12. $12 increase on a $20 stock. Well, that's more than 50% increase. So yeah, it pulls back, goes back up, pulls back again. So here we are here, the last 30 days. 30 days ago, we're at 27.75. We shoot up to 29.50, drop all the way back down to here, back up, back down. Not quite time to jump into Kinder Morgan. Okay, we looked up. We thought the bottom was Thursday. Friday was a higher day. Well, it looked like it could have been the bottom, but apparently not, because today she pulled back quite a bit. So Kinder Morgan may be later on during the week. What else does steel price mean on the option table? Okay, Jojo, I'm not going to get into that. That's Green Mountain. I have no idea what that means. All right. Alex, I'm in Kohl's right now. Would you recommend rolling tomorrow or Friday? I sold the 10th. See, Alex, what I always tell people when it comes time to rolling an option, I start looking on a Monday, okay? And I start rolling, not for this week, but for the following week. Well, if I'm going to roll it this week, I'm going to wanting 1% or more to roll it next week. So I'll take a look at my order. I'll do a rolling order, and if I bought it for, let's say, $20, I want my 20 cents, my 1%. Okay, well, it depends. What are they offering? Well, the market maker will make you an offer. All right, if it's not 1%, I always say, no, this is what I want, set it, forget it. They have what's called a GTC order, good till cancel. So if I put my rolling order in on a Monday, well, I'll put it in with a good till cancel, which means it will be valid until I change it or cancel it. So if it fills, great, I don't have to worry about it. But I always put it in on Monday or a Tuesday. So If I'm not, paying attention for some strange reason, she shoots up and it gets filled, fine, I'll take it. So as long as the numbers work, you can do it anytime you want. Mary June, it's been a while. Still been keeping an eye out. Way to go. Animal hangovers. Nice to see someone who knows how to look at the UOS. Oh, the ups and down pattern. Oh, thank you. Into next week. Okay, got it. Rocket Barber. What's up, James? Love your streams. You are on point, my friend. Thank you. Okay, Curtis, we already did Intel. Ooh, Mindy, we haven't done Starbucks in a while. SBUX. All right. I'm going to go to another channel because I can't keep ignoring the other channels. So I'm going to be back over here in a second. Starbucks, SBUX. Interesting. High, low. Whoa. High, low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at this. Sideways, up, down, up. Okay, what's going on here? 92.66. We're looking at the 93s. Well, the 93s are going for 97. All right, that works. Next week's they're going for $3. I'd take next week's over this week's any day. Okay, so this week, 97. Next week's $3. That's 3%. That's a 1.5%. This is only, see, this week it's 1%. Next week it's 1.5 and 1.5. So it's 3%. So I'd do next week's. That one sounds better. Okay, so right now it's at 92, 93. How much closer do you want to get to 93? 92, 93 is pretty close to 93. Now, a covered call is one of the safest trading strategies there is. It's simple, it's safe, it's predictable, it's consistent. I can do it every single week. Well, every single position I have has a weekly option attached to it. Because why would I want to buy something and just watch it and wait for it to go up? Sorry, that part of my life is done and over with. I'm at that part now where I need to make cash flow every single week. All right, so that's Starbuckies. Next, okay, we're going to go over to this channel over here, see what we have. Holy cow, 96 messages. You got to be kidding. Oh, people just joining. Nobody's actually saying anything. Ava, how much cash do I need to do what you do? Okay, started. I'll buy on average $50 or more per share. Ava, if you want, send me a number. We'll give a chat and we'll chat about it. What else do we got? What else? All these people joining and not subscribing. Uh-oh. What do we have here? My local then. MSTR. My local MSTR, huh? MSTR. 426. Well, I'm going to say no only because check this out. Here's your 30-day bottom here. Here's your 30-day top. What do you think? It's starting to come down. So if you really like MSTR, me personally, I'd wait at least 2 weeks for this thing to pull back before I jump in. Sweet Den, how's it going? So that's it. I'm caught up with over there. Do you ever take a loss in any weeks? Now, every once in a while, I do have to take a loss. I think I had 3 losses this year. Which, if you think about it, it's not that bad. Alex, probably by looking at another strategy. There's lots of strategies out there. Okay, Curtis, I already looked at Intel. He said his grandson started with $50. Yep. But would you enter next week's call on AA this week or wait? All right, Mindy, hold on. Let's take a look at it again. AA. No. Wasn't that quick, Mindy? Because, see, 30 days ago we're here. She jumped up, pulled back, jumped up again. Why would I want to get in now? I want to wait a week for it to pull back down again because now it's almost at a 30-day high again, which I don't like 30-day highs. Okay, 30-day high is a time to sell, not to buy. Which stocks are good now? Ambervale, what's happening? The current financial situation is too bad. Well, Ambervale, I'm not looking. See, I don't do what everybody else does. I'm doing something totally different. Okay? I'm only looking for 1% every week. Now, stocks are predictable. They do the same things over and over and over again, year after year after year. So if you have a company that you're familiar with, that you know what it normally does throughout the year. See, stocks move for two reasons. That's it, only two reasons. One is what's called a known reason. The other is called an unknown reason. Let me see if I can explain it to you, okay? Now, certain stocks, we know why they move. And certain stocks, well, we have an idea, but we don't know why. Well, that's the unknown reason. Now, unknown reason can be a lawsuit coming out of nowhere. It could be an act of God. Hurricane, flood, tornado, blizzard, typhoon, tsunami, earthquake. Something that you can't plan for. That just happens. Okay? Now, on the other hand, we have what's called a known reason. Well, reasons that we know are coming that we can set our calendars to. Well, here's the thing. Earnings. Well, we know exactly when earnings are coming. Let's get this here. Let's just out of here. Okay, see these little purple and blue dots? Those are all earnings for all these companies that have 25 years or more of increased dividends. So these are all the earnings. Okay, Johnson & Johnson, Pepsi, Abbott Labs, 3M, Cincinnati Financial, Nucor, Genuine Parts Corporation, Coca-Cola, Chubb, Sherwin-Williams, General Dynamics, Dover, Ben Franklin, Colgate-Palmolive. You probably know almost a lot of these companies. Those are the earnings. They're actually in the calendar, which means I wrote a book 15 years ago. It's like how to get 10 to 20 checks per month like clockwork. Earnings, dividends, right there on the calendar. It tells you when they're going to have them. So a dividend, well, those are up in green, okay? Earnings, those are in blue and purple. I know when they're going to happen. So what I don't know is how does the stock react to the earnings? How does the stocks react to the dividends? I got questions over here. AA on a tier. All right, Eric. Would you roll AA into next week since it's 1% now? Now, if I already own it, yes, I would. Okay, would I jump into it? No, not at this moment in time. Okay, so we already looked at Intel. All right. So as I was saying, we have known reasons and we have unknown reasons. Okay, so depending on where you get your information, okay, what do I want to jump into? The current financial situation, got that. Curtis Weir looked at Intel. Sweet Den, good evening. Justin or Austin, what's happening? Uh-oh. Alex wants to take a look at AT&T. All righty, AT&T. There we go. I don't know. Okay, high, low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at this. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Now she's going up. So let's zoom in a little bit closer. What does that look like it's doing next? Now, I like the last 30 days because the last 30 days gives me a good idea of what can I expect next. All right, well, take a look. 30-day high, 30-day bottom. Well, now she's starting to go back up again. Okay, well, we're at 2738. What does the 2750 look like? Well, this week's 2750 is 49. Well, that's almost 2%. Well, next week's 2750s is 58. Yeah, I'd do this week's first and then do next week's next week. But that's AT&T. So you get to ask those same questions. Do I like AT&T? Does it make sense to me? Well, the 30-day high is at 29.25. We're currently at 26.75, or sorry, 27.38. So you have to ask yourself a lot of questions. And the most important one is, does it make sense? Then you got to ask, do I like this certain company? You got to figure out, what kind of a trader are you? Okay, what do you want to do? Okay, now I'm just looking for cash flow on a weekly basis. And everything has to be, just right, and do it by the numbers, because it was originally created for a 9-year-old. So it had to be easy. All right, so what do we got left? We got like 15 minutes left. What do we have for questions? All right, nothing on Instagram, nothing over there. All right, what do we have here? Lily, good evening. Durant, what's happening? Mike Sweeney. So we know how to start the covered call, but what do we need to do to collect that premium? Well, that's basically it. You buy the stock and you sell somebody the rights to buy it from you through what is called a covered call. Okay, if you need help, Mike, just have your broker walk you through one or two of them. Or you can always join the morning trading group and you can ask and we'll walk you through it. Zugma options, K-View. Sweet Den, doing great. Way to go. So K-View, KVUE, interesting, 2213. Look at the uptrend we're in the moment. I don't know. Think about it. 30 days ago, we're at 2140. We dropped down to 20, shoot up to 22, pull back, then shoot back up again. Can it continue going up? Yes, it can. But is it going to? Don't know. We got like 12 minutes left. The 2213s, well, the 2250 is worthless, and next week's worthless. So the numbers just don't work. Okay, so look at the numbers. What am I buying it for? Well, currently it's at 2213. Well, if I do the 22s for this week, that doesn't make any sense. The 2250s don't make any sense. So the numbers just don't work for K-View. Sorry. Mindy, IBM. Interesting. Okay, the high, the low, where was it? Where's it? Look at the motion. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Now she's going back up again. Zoom in right here. Take a look at this. Okay, it looks totally different on a 30-day chart. 30 days ago was the 30-day bottom. Then she shot up, found the top, pulled back. Now we have 1, 2, 3 days to the upside. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're currently at 284.71. So we want the 285s. Now the 285s, are you seeing this number right here? I gotta get up for this one. This one's really good. Take a look at this. The current price, 284.71. That's the current price. Okay, the 285s are going for 865. That's over 3%. Even the 287s are going for 755. The 290s are going for 640. The 292s are going for 555. Well, every single one of these premiums on IBM looks really nice. So ask yourself that ultimate question. Does it make sense? Is this something I want to do? Can we look at MTB? Sweet Den, how are you doing today? MTB. No. Sorry, Den. MTB is a monthly. I don't do monthlies. Let's go back to IBM and walk through a couple of those trades. All right there. The 285s. Let's get rid of this. Let's go to covered call. Let's go to the 285 right there. One contract. Now, this is going to have a high number because it's $285 per share. One contract. It got rejected. I didn't mean to send it up that quick. One contract. One contract. There we go. Market order. There we go. Confirm and send. Here it is. By one covered call IBM 100s. Those are the weeklies. 25 July 25. That means this option is going to expire this coming Friday. The 285 call option, which means I'm buying it right now. See the price? 284.71. Then I'm turning around and selling someone the right, not the obligation, just the right to buy it from me at 285, which is more than what I paid for it. Now, for that, this is what I'm collecting right here. $874 per contract. Well, each contract is costing $27,000. So let's do the numbers. IBM 874 divided by 27,626. That's a grand total of 3.1%. Now we know 1% every week is 50% per year. Well, 3% every week has got to be at least 160% per year. So let's multiply that by 52, because there's 52 weeks in a year. 164. Okay, I can deal with 164% for 1 year, but am I really going to get 3% every single week? It would be nice, but I've been doing this for a long time. Even I don't get 3% every single week, but it's nice to get it once in a while. Okay, next. How much are the fees to trade? All right, Animal, do you see this right here? Cost of trade, including commissions and fees. Well, here's the cost of the trade. The commission is 65 cents, and the fee is 1 penny. Right? That's a trade right there. Cost of the trade, 65 cents plus 1 penny. So it's 66 cents in commissions and fees for that trade. Tension 12. Hey, James. The last few recorded morning sessions sound like you are talking underwater. Yeah, I heard that. And I don't know, is it the software or is it the microphone? But here's the thing. I got a brand new computer, so I got to switch everything from this computer over to the new computer, and hopefully it solves that problem. Creative Journey. Sent gifts, thank you, Felix. Sweet Dan, you worked at AT&T for 20 years. Cool beans. Sweet Dan, I got laid off. They downsized me and 20,000 of my friends in 2001. 86 is in the house. Unfortunately, sometimes loyalty doesn't pay off. Sadly, hopefully you were doing well. I started my own business 2005, doing great business before I was born. Oh, yeah. Oh, not a great start. Last 3 years have been nice. Passive income now. Cool beans. Thank you, Sweet Den. Where I want to learn to get passive income has always sounded nice. It does. But Alex, don't kid yourself. You do have to pay your dues one way or the other. Why does Robinhood show current share price on IBM 286 and yours says 284? Is that normal? Mindy, let me show you really closely. Are you ready? Well, let's get out of this. We don't need this. We don't need that. We're going to change this back to that, and we're going to go back to here. All right, Mindy, are you ready for this? All right, the numbers that you are seeing, 284.71. Now, normal trading hours are 9:30 to 4 p.m., Monday through Friday. That number right here, 284.71, was the last trade today for normal business hours. Now they have what's called aftermarket hours. That's what it's doing right now. That's aftermarket hours, 286.51. But you have to be approved for after hours trading. All these numbers stopped at 4 o'clock today. Once that bell rang, all these numbers stopped. Okay, but these numbers right here, the bid and the ask, that just means that the stock is still trading this time of night. All right, we got 4 minutes left to see if I go through the rest of these questions. Is there any mobile platform better than Robinhood you recommend? Unfortunately, I've only used Robinhood. I like it. It's simple. It's easy. It was a lot of work. James is right. You will pay your dues. I've been burnt in the past. Yeah, we all have. Yeah, we all got to pay our dues. Oh, remember that song? Every time I look in the mirror, all these lines in my face getting clearer. The past is gone. Living life like dusk to dawn. Yep. You got to pay your dues regardless of what you do. You got to do something. You got to contribute to society one way, shape, or form. Well, you don't have to, but I don't know. Do you really want to be a leech? Aerosmith. Yeah, you're right, Aerosmith. But what they say is everybody has their dues in life to pay. Everybody has their dues in life to pay. Dream on, Love that song. That is my number one song. Because it's so damn true. Every time I look in the mirror, these lines keep getting clearer. The past is gone. You can't argue with those words. All right, so whether you like Aerosmith or not is irrelevant. You can't argue with the truth. The truth is the truth. Appreciate the wisdom. Way to go. I saw Aerosmith in 76. Yeah, I saw Steven Tyler last year. He was in the pharmacy picking up prescriptions. All right, so we're done with questions over on TikTok. Done with questions to TikTok here. Done with questions on Instagram and YouTube. But we have one YouTube channel. Always have some interesting stuff you guys say. I think Robinhood adds a premium to their prices. I may be wrong. Yeah, Rich, if you take a good look at the bid and the ask, okay, usually I just pay it. I don't quibble about the pennies. Yeah, they're going to get the pennies from me. But many times I've changed the strike price to be more favorable on my side. Every once in a while it works, but every once in a while I'm sitting there staring at it, and it doesn't always do what I want it to do. So, all right, let's go over to YouTube and see what kind of craziness they have to say over there. Hey, James, have I done calls? Yes, we've already done calls. I also bought some Alcoa, waiting for the price to convert to calls. Okay, great. I hear that companies don't need to pay out dividends if the company utilizes dividends to reinvest it into some assets. All right, Stephen, what you're referring to, there's two different types of companies. Well, actually, there's three. There's private companies, which we can't invest in. And then you have two public companies. One, they'll take all the profits and put it back into the company for capital growth. They're called capital growth stocks. And then you have the other set, the other half. Well, those are dividend stock companies. They share their profits with their investors. So they will take some of the profits, put it back in the company, but they will always increase their dividends to their shareholders. Have you become a millionaire from trading? No, got there from somewhere else. Dr. Pepper, KDP, yep, gold has its high in January, February, and March. I don't do gold. Okay, there's no way to get weekly cash flow from gold. Hey, Victor, been doing this since the beginning of the year as well as trading options. I must say this is the best strategy I've seen in the past 15 years. I'm up 35% and not doing this really at 100%. Victor, I'm glad it's working out for you. Way to go. All right. Kyle, you just sent me a DM. Cool. I'll take a look at it tomorrow. Hello. How can I turn the screen? I have no idea. Somebody sent me some kind of app that allows me to invert the screen on YouTube. I haven't figured it out yet. I'll figure it out eventually. What platform? Thinkorswim. Using this week's TDS. Using the week of TDS, you can see how this strategy doesn't work when it takes the stock 6 months to come back from a pre-crash price. Thanks, Mike. You bought Kohl's at 22. The price is still at 10 and is only making $12 in dividends a quarter. You're absolutely right, Mike. But Mike, you're forgetting something, okay? Yeah, I did buy Kohl's at 22. I also dollar cost averaged on Kohl's. And I also got more than 1% every single week on Kohl's for the last year. So I'm not quite sure if you understand the concept. But judging by what you're saying, you're looking at things a little bit differently. So Mike, the question I have from you, okay? Let's say I bought 1,000 shares at 22, all right? So I own 1,000 shares at 22. We can agree on that, right? You still sell options despite the earnings potentials having huge volatility. Absolutely, Silver Guy. Okay, so anyway, Mike, I got 1,000 shares at 22. All right, now you have 1,000 shares at 12. Now, let me ask you this. You have 1,000 shares. I have 1,000 shares. They pay out a dividend. Who gets more, me or you? We both have 1,000 shares. I own it at 22. You own it at 12. Who gets more? Neither one of us. We get the exact same amount. So if I have 1,000 shares at 22 and you have 1,000 shares at 12, the dividend we collect is the exact same. Also, look at the premiums for, or Kohl's, KSS. KSS, Kohl's. All right. So the dividend for Kohl's, the premium for Kohl's, right now it's at 11.76. So at 11.76, it doesn't look like it's going to go any higher. So if I sell the 11s, I'm picking up 1%. But I'm in it at 22, so I'm only picking up 0.5%. But 0.5% is still 26% per year, all right? Now, next week, I'm picking up 22, which is 1% of what I'm looking at. So even though I bought it at 22 and now it's only worth 10, I didn't lose any money because I didn't sell it. I still own 1,000 shares at 22. So every 90 days, I get the exact same dividend that you get. Now, you bought yours at 12. I bought mine at 22. So I still own 1,000, which means I can get a premium on 1,000 shares every single week. Now, do I care that the price went from 22 to 12? No, I don't care. Now, isn't that weird? Because I'm not doing anything with the stock other than collecting a premium every single week. Now, you might be collecting just a dividend, but no, I collect the dividend and the premium every single week. Now, yeah, it is down. I really don't care. I have no intention of selling it. I still have 1,000 shares. No matter how you look at it. So how many shares I have doesn't change because the price goes up and down. All right, so it's all depending on how you're looking at it. So you're looking at it as a bad thing. I bought it at 22, now it's at 10. I lost 12 bucks. No, I didn't lose anything. I only lose if I agree to sell for less than what I paid, which I already said, I have no intention on ever doing that. I will take those damn things and stick them in my shirt pocket when they bury me. Kinda. Caton, what's happening? Just got here? A little late, I'm just getting ready to leave. So let me go over a few more questions if we have any. Marwan, can you show me? You asked me that question a little while ago, and I told you over an hour ago I have not done that yet. All right, so I'll probably end up doing it tomorrow or the next day. What do I think of Bitto? Okay, yeah, I don't do that one. Do I trade crypto? No, I don't. Sorry, Zarin. Steve Tucker. Lauren, same here. For coal, so I bought the matching shares at 10 and started collecting more premiums. Thank you, Stephen. Greetings from Portugal, my friend. Bruno, how are you? Back again. I invested in Equinix. Can you help me understand why I am losing all the time? EQIX. I have no idea what that is. EQIX. I can't help you out with that, brother. That's not on my list at all. And it's like $1,000. It went from $1,000 down to 700, and now it's at 789. It's a monthly. I don't trade monthlies. You see, I do very methodical. So A plus B equals C. 1, 2, 3. Well, next is 4. See, I do things in a certain way, the same thing every single time. So I can't help you out with EQIX. It's something I would never buy. Sorry, brother. Bruno, can you see the e.l.f? Yeah, I don't do that one either. Okay, you should make people answer the basic questions before asking about a stock. Ash, I'm going to agree with you. Okay, I am looking for a moderator for YouTube. All right, as a matter of fact, I have someone who's going to be helping me, I believe, in about a week or two. We're going to set up a remote station, so I'll have a producer who actually screens all the questions. Hopefully that be it. Why not pick 5 or 10 stocks you really believe in as opposed to around 50? Well, Joshua, 5 or 10 doesn't give you enough of a choice because stocks go up. When they get to a certain point, they're just not profitable anymore. So why hold on to them? Valley Wide Rides. Good evening. I'm a bro that never had the opportunity for some government aid nor family. I'm an individual auto buy. Okay. All right. Chasing Jack, I think I'm going to trade till the first week of August and wait to see what happens on TDS Part 2. Yeah, I'm waiting on that one too. Let's do this. All right. Brandon. In your OBS, there is a setting for flipping horizontal. Also, Constellation Brands. What do I think? I have to know what the ticker symbol is. Sorry. Also, I think the market is topping, but when will it fall? Okay. Hello, sir. Would you... LD, that's funny. Listening. There you go. I'm listening. I'm listening. Hi, I have the same question as Eva. How much to get started? Okay, Judy, I'm going to give you the same question I give to everyone else. We are all different. We are all at a different age. We're all at a different point in our lives. What you're looking for and what I'm looking for may be two totally different things. Now, I've been working since 1973. So I have more years under my belt, which means hypothetically I should have more money put away. So I have no idea how old you are and what you're looking to do. Are you looking to retire in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 15 years? Okay? I have no idea anything about you, Miss Judy, so I can't really give you a good answer. Andrew, to get started now with less than 850 pounds, remember that for your leverage, not your investment. Your investment is much less. I have no idea what you're talking about, Andrew, but okay. Great book, easy to read. That would be The Wall Street Money Machine by Wade Cook. Simple, easy to read. Known GameStop is $9 billion in cash. Just saying hi. No dividends offered by them. I'm a long-term DCA. All right, well, it makes sense if you like GameStop. I personally don't because they don't have any dividends. Okay? Hey, what do you prefer to smoke when you're looking at charts? Thank you, Jose. I would definitely have to say pipe, but I don't really do that while I'm working. SPX ODTE spreads are good to trade. Well, Jeannie King, It always going to depend on what you're looking to get. Okay, what are you trying to do? And it's past 11. I can't get all these questions. So how many do we have left? Oh, I'm almost done. Okay. Thanks for learning lessons on coals. Thank you. Thanks, James. Hope you get a profitable day tomorrow. Thanks for the comment on how much to start. You're welcome, Judy. You killed it again today with all this information. Chasing Jack, thank you. We'll do MU tomorrow. Okay, I'll be here. No less, I was helping her understand. Thank you, Andrew. All right, so apparently that's all the questions. I am done. Yay! All right, so that being said, I'm going to call it a night, and we will do this again tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Okay, what do we have over here? Okay, roll. Okay, we already talked about that. All right, so you guys over here, catch you guys tomorrow morning. Out of here. And now the end is here. And so I say goodbye to all you. And now, and out of here, and out of here, and oops, wrong one. Right there. Wrong one. Huh. There it is, right there. That's not, there it is. And now, there we go. La 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 la, done.